All right, Ian,
Patrick.
we have a Patreon, don't we?
We do. Patreon.com/CU podcast. You put in some monies, and in return, you can get various things. We do the full video podcast. You can watch it all in one go. We do a monthly hangout. I had a lot of fun at my hangout. I think it was last week. No, 2 weeks ago. It was a good one. Good times. We chat. We have fun. I do writings about once a week. I got to get on what I think I'm going to be writing about this week. And we also put up poll topics that you can vote on for a podcast Q&A or a Patreon Q&A.
And I was only 2 this week. In second place, what Atari era games would you want to see a modern remake of? 41%. That's strong.
Nice. That'll come back.
I talked about the Asteroids one, which was modern-ish. And then in first place, Ian, have you ever fought with friends over video games? And I guess that can mean playing against each other, sharing games, what have you. Any fun stories with that?
So I have 2 stories about friends getting angry over video games. Both the same friend, Kevin. It was Kevin.
Was it really Kevin?
It was really Kevin. Both of these stories were really Kevin.
Fuck you, Kevin. Sorry, go on.
So the one I recall was, I don't even remember what game we were playing, but we were playing something 2-player on the Nintendo. And I beat him at it, and I remember him getting very angry and tossing his controller off to the side. And it went over my head. We were like sitting, it was like he had the TV in his room. We were sitting on his bed. We were playing something on the original Nintendo. Might have even been a sports game. This is actually going to come up later. My friend Kevin was the jockey, I'm going to play pro hockey type when he was a kid. He just thought that was something you decided you could do when you were a kid. He was one
probably didn't own ice skates.
No, he did.
He did.
He played constantly, but
Not just street hockey. Okay.
But and he played in high school. But he was just one of those dudes who thought, things were going to be handed to him. In high school, he decided he was going to become a marine biologist because he wanted to swim with dolphins. It's like, okay,
and
sure.
why is a hockey player? He wants to double life? Okay.
I don't think he's doing anything worthwhile with his life now. But he tossed the controller over my head and was like real angry. And I was like, "You gonna get your controller?" And he was like, "No." It landed on like on top of like his chest of drawers.
Okay, so he owned that controller? You
owned that controller, okay. And he was like, "Are you gonna get that?" I was like, and he was like, "No," and I'm like, "He's just being a fucking brat." And
you don't remember the game?
I want to say it was Blades of Steel.
Okay,
I want to say it was Blades of Steel because the game wasn't over, but it was Blades of Steel. I had scored again. I was up. He was.
You're great at NES hockey games, Ian, so I can see this happening.
I actually used to be good at them. I don't know what the fuck happened there. Literally, the ice hockey that I play every year with you is like a completely different game than what I played in high school. I was unstoppable at that game in high school, and my skill just completely disappeared. I have no idea what it is that I'm doing wrong. I cannot fucking play it.
Maybe I'm just good. I mean, that's it.
I mean, you are, but I've also played other. I'm just you are good, but I have also just gotten very, very bad. So I'm like, all right, well, we got to finish this fucking game. So I go to get the controller, and it's on the back of the chest of drawers. And we're kids at this time. Like, we're talking like
you're
8,
6
9.
or 7.
I can't. I'm not tall enough to get up there. So I stand on the bottom drawer of his chest of drawers to lean up and get it, and I bring the whole drawer down on top of me. God. Everything fell, and I remember standing up, and I remember this clearly. I remember this clearly because I was young and swearing was a big deal. I was like young enough where swearing was a big deal. I was like 8, and I looked at Kevin and I said, "You know what? Fuck you, Kevin." And I got up and I walked out of his house and I walked home down the street. And his dad called me, and Kevin's dad called me, and I hated Kevin's dad. But Kevin's dad was like, "Are you okay?" I was sure he was gonna yell at me. I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I started to panic." He was like, No, it's fine. He needs to learn how to lose better. He's like, I just wanted to make sure you were okay because the chest fell on you. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Man, you could have tested his home insurance at that point. And sued a little Ian sues him.
The other story,
small but fierce Ian.
There was an arcade. I talk about this arcade a lot. Buffalo was strange we had a an Aladdin's no a Cyber Station in the mall, which was Namco's arcade.
Okay.
So we had a Cyber Station, which was the Namco branded arcade. I think Aladdin's Castle might have also been Namco branded.
Of course, you had a Namco branded arcade near you. Of course, you did.
Yeah, I was
Mr. Namco.
So lucky. And then downstairs from that, there was in this mall. This was the biggest mall in Buffalo, the Walden Galleria. There was a place called Qzar. And Qzar was a laser tag sort of place, but they had a big fucking arcade, multiple levels, like multiple floors. And it's crazy because this, I played all sorts of shit that, was supposedly very rare and hard to find. Like the Qzar arcade had, the full sit-down 2-cabinet Virtua on. It had the Sonic the Hedgehog fighting game. It had the full Guys arcade cabinet. They just got literally fucking everything, like stuff that you've never seen anywhere they had. And then like the Cyber Station always had cool shit too. They had I think it was called Crack and Shoot, which is one of my favorite light gun games. It's a Namco one. Crack and Shoot's cool because it uses actual props.
Okay.
So it looks like you're actually like shooting down metal targets and stuff. Anyway, Qzar had a home run derby arcade game, and it was cool.
Or you bat the virtual
one where
one.
you actually
Yes.
bat, and
Okay.
it came in like a cage. It looked like a batting
It has
cage.
a net.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's got a net on the back.
That was big in like the mid 90s.
It's got the
Early
cage.
mid-90s.
You
Yeah.
walk in, you pick up the bat, and you
Kind of works, kinda.
It worked pretty well, but you could game it. Well, Kevin was. I was the druggie. I was the guy who didn't fucking do sports, whatever. Kevin was sportsman. Kevin hated losing to me anything sports related. Because
he was a hockey player.
If you wanted to see someone fucking act like a child, let me beat Kevin in a sports game. He will lose his sense of self. Gotcha. It was just insane. So we go in and he goes in and he wants to play this batting cage game, and I love home run derby shit. So I'm like, yeah, I'll play too. And he's like, I'll bet you $5 I can beat you.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, sure. I was like, well, sure, why not? I was like, I have $5. So he goes in and he cranks out like 4 home runs and then strikes out, and he comes out and he thinks he's fucking hot shit. And I get in there and I grab the bat and I hit one and I hit another one, and I realize I've already figured out
the timing
and like the right flick of the bat to basically get that thing to fucking soar.
Gotcha.
Every single time. And I stood in there and I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I crushed something like 15 or 20 home runs. And like,
how many pitches you got? Like 20?
It was one of those ones where I think it was like you got 10 pitches, and if you
bonus?
hit all
Okay.
of them, you got
So
bonus
I remember being
pitches.
10 pitches for 50 cents or whatever, or a dollar.
And I think you got bonus pitches was what
Gotcha.
it was. So I hit like 15 or 20 of them.
In a row, okay.
I basically nailed all of them. And you could just see Kevin's face. And he refused to give me the $5.
Oh, come on, you piece of garbage.
He refused to give me the $5.
Kevin.
He thought so certainly that this was $5 that had his name on it because he was sports boy, that he wasn't expecting the person who plays video games and has an understanding of how games work to figure out how to kind of game the system.
Was it just the two of you hanging out, or was there other people?
No, there was someone else there too, and they dogged on him for the rest of the day. He would not talk to me for the rest of the day, and he would not give me the $5 because he said I cheated the game.
Did your relationship degrade after that, your friendship? Or?
That was actually like within the last 6 months of us talking to each other.
So that was a part of it.
There, with Kevin, there was nothing that happened in that like year to 6 months that wasn't a part of it. But yeah, that was definitely.
What did Kevin end up doing? Did he become that marine biologist, swim with the dolphins?
He ended up being a dad his senior year, and last I saw, he was real proud of his Flip Cup championship.
Okay, then. I got a good idea in my head about this individual.
Yeah.
Peaked in high school guy.
He was very much a peaked in high school guy.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And by the way, I'm not disparaging anyone who's
a young I'll disparage you if you peaked in high school.
No, I'll disparage you if you peaked in high school. I'm not disparaging anyone who had to figure out parenthood in their teen years.
No.
That's not
rough.
it. No, but it was totally the peaked in high school. He had everything, thought he was untouchable, realized that people get pregnant, and
I was gonna say,
your popularity in high school does not carry over to the real world.
Yeah, sperm doesn't care about your popularity.
Right.
There, Kevin.
So
put a fucking rubber on. Be smart.
Anyway.
Okay, so I got a couple. We got 5 minutes left because I don't think we get this far. Well, a small one is my cousin Andy. They had Atari 2600 when I was like, that's what the first consoles I ever saw. Like 5. He was a year behind me, like 4, something like that. It was pre-NES. I might have been 6, and they still were playing it. And he was probably 4 or 5. Kind of a brat back then. And he's a part of the 3 brothers I told you about that had every fucking console because there was 3 of them. So every console they had, every handheld they had. It was like, So Atari, I want to play Atari. This is Pat. I want to play Atari. I'm like 5 or 6, and no, you'll break the controller again. And I was like, what? I broke the controller. What? I broke an Atari joystick when I'm 5 or 6. You know how hard it is to break those when you're 5 or 6?
I call shenanigans.
So, like, he refused to let me play Atari. So I had to watch him play probably Adventure or Pitfall when I'm 5 years old. And it was like, I never forgot that I never forgot that. You were just being selfish, not letting me play Atari. And you probably made me cry on the inside. You know how bad it is when you're a kid and another kid says you can't play with something that they have? That could be the worst fucking feeling in the world. I don't think I could replicate that feeling as an adult.
My parents,
I don't think I can do that.
At a young age, my parents really instilled sharing in me. That was like a big thing. It's
bad.
Sharing with friends, sharing, like always, every opportunity they could take to teach me that sharing was important, they did.
So that was bad with Andy. And his brother, Dennis, we used to play Unreal Tournament a lot. I was a bit better than Dennis at Unreal Tournament. 2004, a lot better. So we'd play, we'd 1v1 matches, and a lot of times this was him asking me to play. Because I knew if I played him, first to 20, Ian, he'd get like maybe 3 kills, maybe 4 kills, maybe 5, maybe 6. Like, they were never close.
Right.
And so, but luck changed one day. I'm not saying he used a cheat or not, but luck changed one day, and he played his heart out. And he beat me finally one time. It was like 20-19. It was like, he must have been like playing for his life to beat me there. And he acted like such a fucking asshole that he beat me the one time. And trust me, I didn't rub it in that I beat him because I knew how much better I was at the game. It was just like, I played. Oh, you got close. You do a little ribby once in a while you're playing. Oh, I kid you with those rockets. He would not let me forget that he beat me that one time. And it was like, I was like, okay, I got to take it because he never won again after that. Trust me. But I never went easy on him again after that. But I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, you son of a bitch. And my Kevin story to close this out. My Kevin story goes, and I reference this in, the 10-year anniversary of it coming out this weekend. Go watch my Tecmo Bowl video. Oh. Because it was us playing Tecmo Bowl. And first of all, Kevin was a fucking front runner. So he liked whatever team was popular. Of course, he was a fucking Bulls fan in New Jersey. Why would you? I don't like the Knicks. They suck. Oh, it's real hard to fucking like the Bulls when they just won 3 championships in a row, you fucking asshole. Traitor. At least like the freaking, I understand not liking the Nets because they were horrible. Not liking the Knicks. The Knicks were good in the early 90s to mid-90s. So not just that. That bothered me, that he was a front runner. But also the fact that he would cheat. I think I caught him cheating at a board game once, maybe doctoring the Monopoly money, but that's fine. You should be killed for that alone.
Oh, people who cheat at board games.
You should be dragged out in the street and fucking shot.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
I'll write that into law if I'm president. Executive order, we shoot you in the streets.
I'll do it.
But Tecmo Bowl.
I'll pull the goddamn trigger.
One day we're playing Tecmo Bowl, and of course he uses the Raiders because they had the Bo Jackson. They're great. And of course you like using the Raiders. But I'm using the Giants. The Giants are an average Tecmo Bowl team. They're good on defense. They're very, very average on offense, like they were in real life. So all of a sudden, though, we're playing the game next to each other. All of a sudden, in his room, I'm getting sacked. My play's getting destroyed. Like, I'm talking 75% of the time. I can't get a playoff. And you usually have a 25% chance. It's of picking the play to crush it. And I'm like getting the ball and punting it, and he's killing me. So just for the heck of it, I'm like scratching. I look, and I see his fucking eyes look down the corner, looking down at my controller while I'm going to select my fucking play. No honor. when it comes to board games or Tecmo Bowl, huh, Kevin? Huh?
That's not someone that you...
Peaked in high school, Kevin, as well, probably?
That is not someone that
You're not honorable, Kevin. You're not honorable.
No.
It's also the same Kevin I found out, who was supposed to be my friend, was making fun of me at a party that I wasn't invited to in sixth grade or so. Then when I approached him about it, he was like, well, we were just having fun and stuff. One of those type of people. There's no problem hanging out with you every week and whatever, but if he can get ahead of putting you down, he'll do that. Fuck you, Kevin. Fuck you. I know you're on Facebook.
I know you're on Facebook.
Because I'm the type of person, you can change from being a kid, but it's not like that personality totally molts and changes entirely. That's always a part of you. It's always a part of you when you were a bully when you were a kid. That's always a part of you. Or in high school. That doesn't totally always evaporate. You might be able to change that radically. There's always a little part of you that stays how you were as a kid. I firmly believe that. You can't wipe it out entirely. It's
think
part of
people
you.
can change.
They can change. That's always a part of you, Kevin. You cheated at Tecmo Bowl. You cheated.